Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Restart by Gordon Corman. We are going to jump right in with chapter 17 on page 137. While you're looking for page 137, can we just talk about what happened in these last two chapters? Y'all! Okay, first of all, Brendan Espinosa's Leaf Man stunt turned out to be hilarious. If that thing doesn't go viral, I don't know what will. I was laughing so hard. You saw me. I could hardly keep it together. I hope you found it funny too. What I also found really humorous was in chapter 16 when Gordon Corman dropped a very subtle hint about Shoshana's dog showing up at the house to get to have a bath because it showed up mysteriously covered in pancake syrup. I know one or two of you caught that joke because we had the discussion. Hilarious! I'm telling you. That was really subtle. That means kind of quiet humor. I really liked that. All right. By now, you should be on chapter 17. When we last left our friends, Shoshana had just said to her parents, "Hey, I have an idea. Maybe Joel can come home. Maybe because Chase has changed, Joel can come home." And the last thing we saw, kind of the closing scene from yesterday's reading, was that text message from Shosh 466 that said, "Joel, we need to talk." You think she's going to tell her brother the truth? Do you think she's just going to try to sell him on the idea to come on back home because everything's okay and not tell him the truth? I don't know. I can't wait to see. And oh my gosh, y'all, chapter 17, Joel Weber. We haven't heard from him yet outside of text messages, have we? I don't know. Have we had a chapter on him? I don't think we have. For the first time, I'm hearing Joel's voice. I can't wait. The piano is out of tune. Actually, my whole life is out of tune. But the piano is worse. I couldn't stand Milton, but everything there was always in tune. It had to be. All the kids had perfect pitch. The instruments were maintained at the highest level. Even the wrought iron gate outside of the faculty building squeaked at a perfect B flat. I have perfect pitch too, so I know. I'm proof that just being qualified to attend a musical conservatory doesn't mean you should go there. I love the piano, but not enough to care about it the way that people at school, like the people at Milton do. I want to use it to make music, not mind meld with it. There, it's never enough to play an instrument. You have to live it, breathe it, taste it, compose for it, understand it inside and out. You even have to empathize with it like it's another person. Honest. I hated it. I hated living in a dormitory and sharing a bathroom with 11 other guys. I hated my roommate and his violin and his asthma and the whistling sound he made when he slept. The pitch was like D over high C. Oh, the worst. But what I hated most about Milton was the reason I had to go there. To be fair, it wasn't Milton's fault that I was forced out of my own home by 3 morons. Or that even though everyone knew those 3 were juvenile delinquents, I was the one that had to suffer. And now I'm supposed to believe that the leader of the 3, Alpha Rat, is a good guy because he fell on his head? Fine. Whatever gets the job done. I'm home and with an out-of-tune piano and a small price to pay for it. I'm back where I belong. Yeah, I'm happy. But be careful what you wish for. At Milton, I missed Mitzi so much that it was almost a physical pain. Like, that dog drives me crazy. I know she's glad to see me, but she won't leave me alone. I'm always covered in dog hair, which makes me sneeze. And when I kick her out of my room, she just lies outside of the door, whining F sharp. My parents are so guilty and conflicted about what happened that they're smothering me. They weighed on me hand and foot like I'm helpless. And while it's great to be back with Shosh, she's giving me kind of an uneasy feeling. For one thing, she has entirely too much to say about Alpha Rat. Chase thinks Brendan's going to break his neck shooting a YouTube video. Mr. Solway threw Jello at Chase for letting him win at arm wrestling. Chase kept the camera steady while Hugo interviewed the school bus driver. But when they went over the railroad tracks, I blow my stack. Ooh, let's stop there. That's a super cool idiom. I blow my stack. I want you to think about like a chimney, what a fireplace. You know what I mean? So you have a fireplace with a fire in it, and a chimney goes up through there. It's kind of like a stack of bricks. And so if you blow your stack, it means you kind of explode with anger, probably. I've envisioned like soot and smoke kind of blasting out of a chimney. I don't know if that's right, but that's kind of how I've always remembered that word. If I blow my stack, it's like a stack of bricks. I'm angry. So, really cool idiom. Very bottom of page 136. I blow my stack. Chase says. I mimic savagely. Chase has said enough for one lifetime. She's patient and understanding. That's another annoying thing. Why does everyone have to be so patient and understanding? One of the perks of living at home should be arguing with your family. Wait until you see him at school on Monday. You won't believe how different he is. I don't care how different he is, I say honestly. I don't plan to have anything to do with the guy. But you're going to have to deal with him sooner or later, she reasons. You're coming back to video club, right? Chase is part of that now. Good for him. Her expression turns sympathetic. I get it. You're nervous. Well, obviously I'm nervous. I haven't set foot in that school for months, and my memories from then are not good. There's something about being bullied that you could never explain to anyone that hasn't had it happen to them. It's worse than the sum of the rotten things that are done to you. Even when no one is bothering you, you're still under attack because you're dreading the next strike, and you know that it can come from anywhere at any time. You get so paranoid with every single step that you're like half expecting the floor to like yawn open and swallow you whole. It got to the point where the only place I felt safe was at the piano. Until the night the piano blew up in my face. And then there was no safe place anywhere. That was my all-time low. And I forgive Mom and Dad for deciding that Milton was the answer. I'm a little better now, page 140. But only because Milton was so lousy at even coming back to this. Only because Milton was so lousy that even coming back to this was an improvement. He's saying music school was so bad that coming back to being bullied wasn't quite as bad. When a bunch of jerks see you as a victim, that's on them. But when it goes on so long that it's how you see yourself, well, it's very hard to climb out of that hole. The hole seems deeper on Monday morning when Shosh and I get out of the car and Hiawassee Middle School is right there. I know bricks and concrete are incapable of evil intent. I just can't shake the feeling that the building itself is out to get me. Dr. Fitzwallace reached out to my parents last week. He offered to meet with me this morning before homeroom, and I said no. I'd just print my class schedule at home. I think he wants to reassure me that he's got my back. Big deal. He had my back before, and what good did it do? Short of a Secret Service bodyguard, there's no way to protect anyone 100%. Sooner or later, you're always going to end up in a lonely hallway or in a deserted locker room. Shosh rounds on me. You ready for this? I'm not ready, but I nod. Then we're in, surrounded by all those kids. I forgot the thrum of a school this big, the chaotic buzz of sounds, too many to assign to a single note to, or even a whole chord. A handful of faces turn away, registering surprise at my return. I hear the occasional whispered, oh, it's him, or Joel's back, or, you know, the guy whose piano exploded. I catch a couple of kind-hearted looks and even a hostile one from a big kid who must be a football player. Mostly, though, nobody sees me at all. Or worse, they never even noticed that I was gone. I think it makes me madder than anything else. I went through the worst part of my life. Was being bullied so badly that I had to leave town, and it never popped into people's radar screens. That baloney from guidance counselors about how we're supposed to be a community. Yeah, right. This is how bullies like Chase Ambrose get away with what they do, because their victims are invisible. Speaking of bodyguards, Shosh thinks she's mine because she stays glued to my side. Add that to the list of humiliations that doesn't need padding. My sister is convinced she has to fight my battles for me. Don't you have to get to homeroom? I ask her, fighting to keep exasperation out of my face. Oh, I just figured I'd stay with you, just for today. I haven't seen Mr. O'Toole in a while. I interrupt her. Go away, Shosh. She looks worried. Are you sure? No, I replied honestly. But you can't hang off me forever. What happens when I have to go to the bathroom? Well, I figured I could wait outside. Go away, I repeat. Classes are okay, I guess. No different than Milton. Math is math, regardless of whether you're learning it from a world-class French horn player. A few kids ask where I've been. Those who know have questions about what boarding school is like. Brendan Espinoza updates me on his YouTube career, and I congratulate him on Leaf Man, which is up to over 4,000 views. Top of page 142. Not exactly viral yet, but his biggest audience so far. He tells me about Video Club. Kimberly Tooley is a member, although she never struck me as the type. He talks about her a lot, so I suspect he has some kind of crush going on. Well, the biggest news is that your sister's entry for the National Video Journalism Contest, Brendan enthused. We've been screening the footage, and it is awesome. They're just doing the editing now. Shoshana and He falls silent. Yeah, I know who her partner is. Joel, you are not going to believe how different he is. It's like he split open his head when he fell off the roof, and they put in a new brain. Yeah, so I've heard. Bad enough I have to listen to Shosh singing Alpha Rat's praises. It never occurred to me that the entire video club would turn out to be his fans too. I passed by Chase in the hall once, and the sight of his face nearly makes me jump out of my skin. But here's the thing. He looks right through me. like I'm not even there. Maybe he really does have amnesia and doesn't recognize me. Well, I recognize him. He's the jerk who did his best to ruin my life last year. I have no choice but to run to beta. I have no choice but to run into beta and gamma rats. They're in my Spanish class, 7th period. Look who's come crawling home to mommy, Bear sneers at me. I am paralyzed. It's worse than my near miss with Chase in the hall because it proves that nothing's really changed. Are these my only two choices? This and Milton? Aaron grabs Bear's arm and drags him to a seat in the back row. Leave it, man. You want to get in even more trouble thanks to this loser? Those two are doing community service over the cherry bomb in the piano. Maybe that'll buy me a little peace. What I dread most is the part I used to look forward to. Video club. When I was at Milton, I practically ached for it. It was the symbol of everything I was missing out on because I'd been exiled. Remember the word exiled? Look up on our bulletin board. It's there. Exiled means being sent away against your will. Maybe being sent away for political reasons. But kind of being kicked out of your own country. And that's how he feels. He feels like he's been exiled, sent away against his will. But now all I can think of is that I'm going to come face to face with him. When I get to Mrs. DeLeo's room, the lights are all out and all eyes are on the smartboard. I assume that this is my sister's famous video project, and the old guy on the screen is that Mr. Solway I've heard so much about. He's describing a scene from the war, and everybody is completely enthralled. Mrs. DeLeo notices me first and pauses the video. She comes over to the doorway to greet me. Oh, Joel, it is so good to have you back. They crowd around me, all the members. There are a couple of new faces, like Kimberly, but most of them are old friends. It's a nice welcome. I can't enjoy it, though, because I know he's there, waiting his turn. Shosh performs a formal introduction, like I don't know the guy who turned my life into a horror show, but of course it isn't for me. It's for him. Chase? I don't think you remember my brother, Joel. He looks 10 times more miserable than he ever made me. I don't even know what to say to you. He begins in a voice that I barely recognize. His. Oh, sorry. I messed that up. Go back to that very last sentence on 143. When Chase says his first words to Joel. I apologize. I messed that up. I don't even know what to say to you. He begins in a voice I barely recognize as his arrogant alpha rat bravado. A lot of fancy words. What Joel is saying there is that Chase is sounding so different than the mean, gruff, arrogant, rude guy that he was before, that he doesn't even recognize him as alpha rat. And so Chase continues. I have no memory of the things I did to you, and I can't undo them. But I want to tell you that I am really, really sorry. Up until this moment, I had no idea how I'd react meeting Chase Ambrose again after all these months. Now I know. I completely believe that he has amnesia and can't recall the stuff that happened between us. I believe he's changed. And that he probably honestly regrets what he did to me. And I know something else. It doesn't make any difference. None. Zero. Zilch. I hate his guts. my gosh, y'all. That's not how I thought it was going to end. I really, really thought Joel was going to come around. I'm thrilled that Joel is back at school. Aren't you? This is cool. This, my friend, is the situation. This, I think we are approaching the climax of the story. We're going to talk next week about the plot line, the arc of a story. And the climax is kind of the one big thing that happens in a story. I'm starting to feel the suspense. I feel like that big thing is about to happen. All right. Hoping you are having an amazing day. I hope you're loving the story like I am. And I super hope you're about to read chapter 18 with me, told from the perspective of our pal, Chase Ambrose. All right. See you next chapter.